What's up everybody, Kier Gomes here and welcome back. So today we are going to be going over one of my favorite practical magic effects. This is definitely something that any beginner can do. You can really spice it up and make it your own. And it's something that I have taught on this channel before, but it was a couple of years ago and the quality of that video was pretty much garbage. So I figured this trick is worth revisiting and worth reteaching. And for those of you that are new to my channel, there you go. So the effect that I'm talking about is obviously from the intro of this video, and that is the Chicago opener, which is also known as the Red Hot Mama. Now, the Red Hot Mama was created by Frank Everhart, who was a wonderful magician, and it uses the use of two different colored card backs. So this is definitely something that requires a setup, but when you pull it off, it's absolutely worth it. And because it requires a setup, you can put it in your deck and open with it, which is why it's called the Chicago opener. Anyway, we are going to go over all of these steps to performing that trick today. So before we get started, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
Okay, so we're going to do this typical KGM tutorial style. So basically what's going to happen is I will go through a quick performance of the trick or a demonstration, then we'll get into the setup and the mechanics and how to do it, and during that process I will go over some performance tips if you're going to be doing this for either camera or live in person. So grab a deck of cards, let's go. Alright, so for today's demonstration we are going to be using the Black Roses hotel playing cards. So what we're going to do now is a fairly simple magical procedure. We need to have a card selected. Now if a spectator was here, I would have them name any card they want, but since they're not, we'll go with this one, the Jack of Spades, okay? We're going to take the Jack of Spades, we're going to cut it right into the middle of the deck, effectively losing it. Now what I want to see, if I'm correct about magicians and we love snapping our fingers, that should make the Jack of Spades a little bit easier to find. As you can see, one card in the deck actually changes color. And wouldn't it be amazing if that card was your card, the Jack of Spades? It's pretty good, right? But you probably want to see it again. So let's go ahead and put the Jack right there. And I'm just going to have you call stop whenever you want. Right there. Let's say that's your new card. Go ahead and lose it in the deck. And if I spread through the cards, oh, you know what? Now, if I spread through the cards, wait. Oh, you know what? I think I remember what happened. We said one card was going to change color, and that would be the 8 of Spades. Okay, so to pull this effect off, you only need really just a couple things. So you need a deck of cards, and preferably a deck of cards that you have in more than one color. So for example, these are the Black Roses Hotel. These are like mint green. And then the Black Roses Casino edition, which is black. These work really nicely because it's the same back design but just contrasting colors. You could just as easily do this with bicycles, like a red and a blue bicycle deck or whatever you want. I just happen to be using these ones. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your deck, and usually you would want to do like the lighter colored deck, just it helps with contrast. So for this one we're using the mint green edition. All you really need to do is make sure that you have a deck that's one color and a completely different color as your secondary deck, okay? But what you want to do is take one card from the other colored deck. So in this case I took the 8 of Spades out of the Black Roses Casino deck. And then you want to take out the same card on the lighter colored deck. So I have 2 8 of Spades, 1 black, 1 green, and you're going to put those on the bottom. Now what you're going to do is first you're going to put the actual 8 of Spades that matches the rest of the deck, then you're going to put your off-colored 8 of Spades right there on top. So basically your setup is going to look like this. 2 8 of Spades, off-colored 1 at the very bottom, okay? And that is the only setup that you need. So now you are ready to perform this trick. I would recommend doing this as an opener, so here's subtlety tip number 1. If you're going to be doing this trick, use it as kind of like your first opening effect, because you can't have the spectator shuffle these cards or else it'll disturb the setup. So you want to make sure that since the deck is kind of dirty to start the trick, that you start with something like this, and then by the time it's over, you'll be clean and good to go. So anyway, just to recap, we have our 8s on the bottom. Now you can use this for whatever cards. I just literally reached into the box and pulled out the 8 of Spades. It could have been anything, okay? Now you want to have the spectator select a card. You can have them do that by any means. So it is an actually free selection. There's no forces involved. You can have them name a card out loud, which is what I would recommend, or you can riffle and have them say stop, or you can, literally whatever you want. So let's say the spectator grabs this card the three of clubs. It's actually my favorite card. So they grab the three of clubs. You can have them sign this card. You can have them do whatever they want with it, right? But now what you're going to do is you're just going to turn it back over on top. So far there's been no sleight of hand. Everything's been legit. Then you're just going to do a swing cut, cutting their card, the three of clubs, into the middle of the deck and placing the rest on top. Now, of course, what you're really doing when you cut it is you're putting the three in the middle and then you're placing your setup, so the dirty cards, on top of that. So what's going to happen is now the two eights are going to go on top of the selection. Now is where you would insert some patter, so snap your fingers, wave your hand, have the spectator blow on the deck, literally whatever you want to justify spreading through the deck and explaining that the card should be a little bit easier to find. Now what you're doing there is you're just looking out for the off-colored card. So in this case I'm looking for a black one, and I can see it's right there. Now because of the setup and the way that we cut the deck, what's going to be happening is this obviously is not the spectator's card. We have the eight of spades, which is the mint color, just on top of it, and then we have the spectator's card just below it. So when we find that card, we're going to out jog it, finish spreading through the deck, then we're going to cut everything from the off-colored card down to the top. So it's going to go like that. Now what we've done is we've moved the actual mint green eight of spades down to the bottom, and we have our setup here so we can do a double lift. So remember, the card underneath the dirty card is the spectator's selection. So we can say one card changed color, we're going to do a double lift. Now when you go to do the double lift, I would recommend, because if the cards came from two different decks, some cards might be beveled differently than others, it can make it kind of hard to get a double lift. I would recommend making use, for sure, of the pinky break so you can get a nice and clean double lift, okay? There's a lot of ways to do that. You can do a pinky count where you just riffle down with your pinky, or you can do like a push off and get a break under those top two cards, and patter should be able to distract and misdirect your spectator from seeing any of that, by the way. So that's subtlety number 2. Alright, so the setup's pretty much done. Now you've got your little pinky break, so all you need to do is do your double lift, and you can say, the card changed color, wouldn't it be amazing? It's your card. Now at this moment, that's one trick. Essentially, your spectator thinks that they're seeing magic already. They don't know it's the full effect, so you really can take this time to dress it up. Okay? So you can go, this is pretty impressive, do you want to see it again? A lot of times, you'll hear this patter a lot. I actually am a fan of it, although some of you might not be, but I like saying, you know, magicians never like to repeat the same trick twice, but for you, I'll make an exception. So let me show you this again. Then you can do the trick and finish it a little bit differently. So you turn over your double, okay? Now you're gonna either hand this to them, have them put it in their hands, or in my case, since I didn't have anyone here, I just put it up my sleeve. You could put it on the table, whatever. But now what I'm doing is planting the next card that we're gonna reveal. So they think at this point that this is their card. So they think they're seeing a black 3 of clubs go here. In fact, they're seeing an 8 of spades. So once that's there and they're thinking that that's their card, we're gonna go, okay, let's select another card. We'll get that out of the way. So now what you're gonna do is any force that you can do from the bottom. So I like to use the Hindu force, which essentially looks like this. I just peel top packets off of the deck and tell them to say stop whenever they want. And they say stop right there, and we're gonna do that, okay? Now, there's a lot of subtleties you can do. Pig Cake actually just did a really good video on subtleties for this force and for this move. So I would recommend going to watch that if you really want to spice this up. So anyway, you're going to do the Hindu force or whatever bottom force you want to do. So let's say they say stop there, and we go, okay, so that's the 8 of spades. Now we're going to continue cutting it into the deck, and we're going to repeat the same process. So what we're going to do now is tell the spectator, well, let's see if we can snap our magic little fingers and make that card reveal itself to us. And of course, there is no black card there because it was in your sleeve. You're going to go, okay, hold on, maybe if you snap, you're going to have them snap. Right, and you really want to punch this up. So this is going to be subtlety number 3. Just a recap of where we're at. We had our setup, right? We did our first piece where the card seemed to turn black, and then we put it somewhere where we can't continue to manipulate it, and then we've done a Hindu force, okay? So now the spectator thinks that the selected card is the 8 of spades, and you're really going to want to dress this piece up. You're going to want to make it seem like the card is going to turn black. And you want to seem like you're looking for it. You don't want to make it too fast. You don't want to be too eager to get to the revelation. Take your time and really make it special. In my case, I would act like it's a goof, right? I'm going to go, oh, I don't see it. You know what? Maybe if I snap again. Okay, I don't see it. And then you have the spectators. Okay, maybe if you snap, right? And then what happens is you go, okay, I think I know what happened. There was so much snapping going on, I think my cards got confused, and the one black card actually changed. And now you can really dress up that reveal, because your spectator at this point, this should be out of sight, out of mind, or it's in their hands and they've been holding it the whole time, so they're not expecting to see a different card in between their hands, especially a different selected card. So you really want to punch up that moment by going, you know what, it's just one card was actually supposed to change color, and I think that it might be your card. This is a moment where your spectator can react accordingly. They're obviously going to be really impressed with what they saw, and a lot of that can be credited to how well you use the patter to your advantage, because this effect, while it is something that beginners can grasp quite easily, it is very, very deceptive, and it's definitely something that a spectator with the right misdirection and the right pattern and the right setup will absolutely react with astonishment, complete astonishment. So there you go. That's the move. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode and my tutorial and my take on the Chicago opener. As I mentioned before, it is absolutely one of my favorite tricks to perform live. It gets great reactions, it's very reliable, and it's also just something that with your own pattern you can always dress up and make your own. And for those of you that have been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that I pretty much say that in every single tutorial. These are the kinds of things that really nobody can teach you. The mannerisms that you use and the pattern and your flow and your charisma, all of that is really up to you, and those are things that the only way you can really practice and develop is just by doing it. All I'm saying is when you're practicing, it's also good to be thinking about what pattern you're going to use to set up or justify the trick, or what you're going to say to segue into your next effect. You can even practice at home with your little siblings, your older siblings, your parents, cousins, whatever, whoever you're stuck at home with. Make their day a little bit better, practice this trick, and perform it for them. Alright guys, thank you again so much for clicking on today's episode, and if you stuck around all the way to the end, I really do appreciate you. So if you like these types of tutorials, please let me know by dropping a like on this video and subscribing for more awesome content just like this. I'm also currently doing a giveaway for a half brick of the Slow Hands Starters Edition playing cards. That is my deck of cards. I'll leave all the information that you need at the end of this video, either here or here, I'm not really sure where, but you'll see it and you'll know. That giveaway is still open for the next 2 weeks, so go check it out, you might win some cards. With all that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.